It's probably frustrating. Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to City of Eureka Springs CAPC Special Meeting for March 8th, 2023 at 3 p.m. Real quick, this is a special meeting, so we will only be talking about the one item on the agenda, and that's it, and then we'll go to our workshop. So let's do roll call. Mark Hicks.
Here.
Steve Holyfield.
Here.
David Albazino.
Here.
Chris Jones.
Here.
Jeff Carter is absent. And, okay. So, previous 2 meetings ago, we approved a motion that all invoices, and I went back and watched it, Scott was right, all invoices have to be detailed and approved by us right now. So Paradise can't launch our programs until this is approved. So that's what's on the table for business. Do you have any, Scott, do you have any comments about the invoices?
No, not right now.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and ask a question. We had approved $100,000 for the spring campaign. So did that match up with this? This is the spring campaign.
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I'm matching up to, but these are the,
For the media piece. Is this more than that?
Yeah, I'm looking at more than 1,000.
Yeah.
Or more than,
these total $469,000, I believe. And I felt like the commission needed to see these moving forward. How these people are going to use this funding toward that campaign is the question I don't know. They didn't specify that I see directed toward that campaign. This is more or less a 6 to 12 month projection of labor cost. You know, they got media planning in here, public relations, social media.
So where's the spring? I thought we were doing, I guess I was confused. I thought we were doing the spring. This was over the spring media detailed invoices. They've already, I mean, we approved that 100,000, so.
That's
all good.
That's all good.
Okay.
Okay. This
So
is
this is-
batch 2, you might say.
Okay, I didn't understand. But did they tell us that this has to be approved to move forward with spring campaign? Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
In other words, they're not going to do anything until these are approved. That's the way I'd say it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, these are, any discussion?
there should be a lot of discussion at the table. I mean, we're not seeing results from Paradise from what we paid for last year as far as social media is concerned. And
So, we're good. I think we should I'm definitely for debate on merits of Paradise or not. We should probably do that in the workshop.
well, the only reason I bring it up because
Yeah.
they have one of the invoices in here is for social media,
Right.
and I'm not willing to vote yes on anything regarding that until we see an ROI. And maybe they can answer that question in the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Are they supposed to be here this part of the meeting?
No.
No, this came to our attention that we needed to get this done immediately. They've been pressuring to get this approved. And so I put it on the special meeting, and I went back and watched, and the meeting that we have to do this, so.
So what do you
As
think?
Scott pointed out.
Sorry. What do you think, Scott?
So I'm bringing it to you. I went back, well, actually, I was the one person that went back and looked at the prior 3 YouTube meetings for the minutes, to process the minutes, and I noted that, and I included it in a communication with you, that Paradise Invoices communications would be presented to the commission, and that's what I'm doing. I don't deal with them directly. I'm somewhat familiar with them, but I can't sit here and tell you what they're doing. I just don't know right now. I don't mean that in a negative light, but that's
Right.
just the truth.
I hear you. I agree with David. Until we understand what they're going to do with our money, what are we approving here? A lot of this stuff is pretty vague and pretty expensive, so.
I guess I don't understand either, because we approved a budget for them. Then we approved the spring campaign. Now, I understand that's just the media buying pieces, right? So there's some labor behind that, but I don't understand why.
Yeah, not $470,000 worth. And it looks like, when you look at these, at each invoice individually, it looks like they're billing us, it says service date January 1 through December 21, 2023.
Right. These are estimates. So I don't get it.
Estimates and previewing, and the website's not even live yet, correct?
What now?
It's not even live yet, right?
No.
This is for the new one, so.
We've
the
kind
one
of
that-
held that up, and that's what we asked them to be on for today in the workshop, partly. One, to do an overview of the report they had for last year, but then to do the website, the bulk of, so.
In looking at these 9 different estimates, in my opinion, they're asking the CAPC to commit the total dollar amount for a 12-month period, and it is specific for labor, not content or the advertising piece of it. This, to me, is the labor part of it. That's the way I would explain it.
I don't know what their motive is.
I don't,
We have a contract, and my understanding is then they should be billing out invoices. I don't understand this. So we need to get more clarification. Is that what?
Yeah, is this how it came through last year, Scott? Do you remember
it's.
estimates like this from last
I'm going
year?
to say yes, but it didn't come in all at once like this.
Okay.
So occasionally, they would send an estimate through, but I did not pay by estimate,
Right.
never have.
And we,
No.
Yeah.
But this was kind of like an alert, get ready, we're going to need $26,000 down the road as we invoice you. Okay? That's the way I understand it works. But I've never paid off an estimate.
Are they asking for payment? I mean, this isn't an invoice.
This is not an invoice.
Yeah.
They're asking us to commit, and I don't understand why they would want us to commit when we've already signed a contract with them.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't understand why they.
So I completely didn't understand what you were telling me when you said, I thought it was invoices. Okay.
And
They-
see-
I don't understand.
Another estimate. Well, I guess we need them,
Right.
yeah, we need them to,
Well, they'll be on at 3:30. We can have discussion about that. But, so the piece of business is, well, they're not even invoices. Does anyone have a motion for anything?
I move that we postpone this until we talk to them directly.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
can we
Oh.
have some discussion first?
Sure.
Just so that when they are on, we know the questions that we need to ask.
Well, can we just go ahead, unless we're going to have, let's do a motion. We've got a workshop. We can do plenty of discussion.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Got a motion? Second?
Second?
I have a motion to table Paradise's estimate request for approval, and by Steve Holyfield. I have a second by David Alvazino. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and it passed unanimously. To entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, special meeting?
Second?
I'll second.
Second.
Okay. David Alvazino made a motion to adjourn the special meeting. Chris Jones seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Okay, and now we're in our workshop. Okay. Discussion on the topic at hand, obviously. The,
Does anyone have an extra pen? By chance?
Pen?
Yeah, normally I take notes on my phone, but they're using it as a hotspot
Yeah, I
to get internet. Do you have an extra one?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, my understanding is we have a signed contract that outlines the estimates for the labor and for the various breakdowns of that. It's Mr. Carter, and so I don't understand why, well, to your point, Scott, I could understand if we're getting like I mean, we probably should be getting some billing for the spring labor.
The issue came up that Paradise was wanting me to sign off on those estimates. And to me, there was really no reason to do that,
Right.
but they were not going to do any work unless I signed them, and that's when I came and said, we got to talk about this.
So we got a lot of confusion. I thought they were invoices, but they're estimates for work, scope of work for the year, it looks like. We've already signed a contract with an estimate for scope of work, so we don't understand. Now, one thing, would this remove the 90-day out? Is that?
I don't know.
Are we in a special meeting?
Yes. No. We're in workshop.
Okay, cool. So
We already tabled the, there was no motion to approve invoices,
Okay.
which there's no invoices, there's estimates.
Okay.
So to recap for your sake, Jeff, the spring media buys, that's been approved. That was approved at the last meeting or meeting before, I don't know. But Scott has signed off on those. But these estimates they're wanting is what's confusing all of us now that we realize.
Do you remember seeing this last year, Jeff?
The estimates,
Coming across like this?
we didn't see them as, they didn't come before the commission as a whole, right? So normally what we did was, any of the commissioners that wanted to see them would always go to staff and they would be made available, right? And then we would get a report from tourism director of what was going on, what media, every month, right? We would get our monthly report. But we didn't see them like this, but then the commissioners that signed checks would always see everything in detail. So every time any bill had been approved by, of course, Madison at the time, Madison would approve it, and then whenever checks actually went out, all that would be compiled by Scott in a form, so that commissioner would go through it. But we never really saw it at this table together like this. This is new.
So everybody's just wondering why.
Well, I think what's happening is Scott wants us to know, and I think I myself want to know what we're spending the money on. And so I first of all, I want to thank Scott for bringing all this up, because some of this stuff, these estimates, to me, are way off, and we're not even getting the service that they're wanting to bill us for. For instance, I'm looking at the estimate, social media, paid social media influencer and creator campaign retainer services. We're not seeing any social media new content or creation coming out, so why are we spending $75,000 for that? I mean, the social media we see coming out is from our own stakeholders.
And even that first one, management and maintenance of existing websites.
Yeah.
Come on, we're paying for that? Because what's up there right now is embarrassing. I mean, it's outdated, it still has Christmas stuff on it.
Yeah.
And this is March, and this says January 1st to December 21st, 2023.
I think it was, right, I think it was supposed to be released last, like October or something, or
Yeah,
September.
it should have been released last year, not.
So
Yeah.
this is
3 months
a whole
into the
big
year.
discussion, and I mean, but we have to have it, and that's, we kind of had this back in, when I first came on, November, December discussion, and we got to have a plan to do something else. Now, I think Scott is working on that, but I don't think that's going to be, I mean, it obviously is going to take time, and we've got to do some planning and stuff.
I'll be working on it either Friday or Monday.
But we approved, the commission approved the contract, for the year. We do have a 90-day out, so that's something the commission can consider, obviously. And the question would be, what do we do instead? And so hopefully we're prudent.
Is that, Scott, is that contract in a form that can be emailed to all of us?
I believe it's like 10 pages or something.
I don't even think
But
it's that
I
long,
don't
but
think it was even that long.
yeah. I'm
we
sure
can-
I've got it.
So at least if I could see the contract, that would help a little bit.
Madison ran it by the attorney. They were fine with it. There was no pushback on that. The commission discussed it and approved it. And it really may be because of, that was behind the 8 ball, so to speak. And so, hopefully this year we get out from behind the 8 ball.
Well, to me, though, it looks like we're already behind.
Yes,
If we were going to look at other options besides Paradise, that should have happened last year, before the first of the year, before the contract was done.
Yeah.
So now we're already into March, and we're going, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And I don't want to make the commission back up, but for me to start approving this stuff, I need to know what is Paradise doing? I don't understand what they do for the money that we pay them. I really don't. Until we have I just have a dog and pony show, as they say, to come up and say, this is what we're doing, this is how we're spending the money, this is how it results in tourism for Eureka Springs. Until we do that, I feel really weird about saying yes to any of this stuff,
Well, everything on our social media and our advertising has to be content-driven. And the content is going to come from 1 mile from sitting right here and farther. And we've got to build a library of our events so that we can pull from them over time to develop the content. So therefore, we're going to have to work with photography, video agencies to start creating that. Otherwise, any advertising agency we talk to is going to be going to the internet and pulling off a St. Patrick's Day parade from somewhere in Florida maybe and posting it here. And so that's really important. That's really important. To me, it is.
Well, we have a plethora of photographers and videographers local that can help us create, this catalog, which I think is a great idea. And then we also have the positions that are now, I believe, live, staff positions that are now live. The window is 30 days. I understand that we've got some really good candidates already. for the staff positions.
Oh,
That's on the agenda here.
Once we have our staff in place, we can move a lot quicker than what we're doing right now. Because I know the vision we want to share with the world and in Eureka, and I can get the content, and we can share it amongst ourselves and tweak it, and then we get it to Paradise or to our ad agency. This is what we want. Tell me what you see that I don't see, and let's push it. Let's go. It's a business. It's real simple. To me, it is.
well, I mean, for me, when I came on, I had a lot of the same questions, and I still do. And I would, I'd like to see us talk to other options. And that's me, but I'm one person.
I will work to put a RFP out next week and set a deadline on it, and after I let the attorney look at it, and then we'll start getting some responses.
What's that?
Pardon me?
What's RFP?
Request for proposals from ad agencies.
Didn't we commit to them for this year? This is why, so we could have time to do this?
Right. So,
So
we did
committed to
commit.
them, and we,
Yeah, we did commit. The contract does have a 90-day out. But, I don't know if realistically you can make a change quick on something like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. And, depending upon the staff that are hired for downstairs, I think that a lot of that
Yep.
can be taken out of this.
Yes.
So
I agree.
if you add all this up, and sounds like labor,
Yeah.
if they get paid for all their labor up front for the year.
Yeah, and we're going to have
And we
to,
back out in 3 months, 90 days?
visit,
Well, I don't think we ever agreed, unless the contract states that, but my understanding was the labor should be billed as we're going as well on the things they're working on. Because I was upset that it was, we're outsourcing $500-something thousand of labor,
Yeah.
essentially.
So if we give them 90-day notice, they've already gotten paid up front for the year.
But not for the media piece, too. Oh, is it? I don't know if that's true. If we, well, that's a good question. I don't know.
This may be them reading the writing on the wall and go, well, let's get our paycheck now.
Could be. But
And bail.
so
And
last
let them
year,
bail.
didn't they bill it out as they went? I saw all the invoices.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this.
This is the first time I've seen this group come in all at one time.
Okay.
Normally you'd see one come in, two come in every month maybe, I'm not sure what happened with that communication with Madison and them. I don't know. I wasn't in that role. But I have seen some documents where she had done some Adobe electronic signing of those estimates that we're looking at now. So I'm not sure, well, if we're signing for it and she's acting as an agent for us, then we're committing to that agreement. That's what we're doing. So that's why I'm here with you, because this is something you guys need to discuss and give me direction moving forward.
so all these estimates, I'm just trying to understand as well, all these estimates are for the website that's not even gone live yet, the one that we viewed a few weeks ago. And
No, it's just the first one,
Or is this for the,
just this one.
Well, we need to ask them.
26,000.
What
Right.
do you
And
want
this
here?
one is for,
What's the intent?
right, this is the labor.
'Cause it may just be
this is
like-
for the labor for building the new website.
and all the advertising, it's basically the labor that's going to be involved in them.
This should be mimic the contract. but I just don't understand why the need to sign something again. This is odd. I mean, I don't know. So,
What brought, what?
are you gonna be able to patch them in at 3:30? Ron?
You know, unless they are
We're
covering.
good to go. Just let me know when you want to.
Okay, let's hold on just a second. Okay, not yet.
Okay.
We are going to.
So, huh?
I think they are covering themselves. They're probably onto that there's been talk of.
So this first piece, they're supposed to do, I asked them to present their annual report that they had put together. And to, just in the essence of time, to kind of do a high level. I mean, obviously, we can ask questions and stuff. And then we're supposed to go into the website. So they're not prepared to get hammered by us.
You know, I get it,
And we may be off in our facts, so I don't know.
but something's got to stop somewhere. If they're going to start presenting all this stuff, we've got to say, hey.
Yeah.
This
So
is-
it'd be nice if, I don't know if Rudy, it's Michael, yeah. Michael might have some answers for us, but, you know.
And he's our account manager, is that correct?
Yeah. And Michael's very, very good to work with, I'll say. So, are we ready? Okay. All right, Ron. Is that a console TV?
To Samsung.
We're ready to go on our end.
Okay. So what does that mean?
There, looks like only Michael's, there we go. The screens just start splitting.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Michael.
How are you?
We are well.
Excellent.
I'll give you an advance warning. We do have some questions on the estimate piece. I don't know if
Oh,
you
sure.
want to handle that immediately or after.
Well, let's do it first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're a little confused with so we signed a contract, and the
Yep.
contract had a breakdown of services and estimates, and we signed off on all of that. This appears to mimic that, maybe?
Yeah, what you guys signed off of was a total overall budget for the year. And then, like, let's take, like, the accounts retainer as example. You sign that estimate so that we can bill you on a monthly basis. And from, like, a media perspective, we have to send you individual estimates for each time we're buying media. Otherwise, there's no accountability on our side or on your side. So it's very standard practice that once you, in the industry, is that once you sign the Uber contract, you still need to sign an estimate for each one of the payment terms. So, you know, for example, like, we don't get paid all up front for the retainer, we're going to bill you on a monthly basis. I mean, quite frankly, we haven't billed you guys anything this year.
Right.
Because the contract took a little while to get signed, and then, of course, once the estimates are signed, I can go back to finance and say, great, they've signed that the retainer estimate, we're going to do this amount of money per month. They will issue an invoice at the beginning of the month that will match that amount, whatever that is divided by 12, and then you guys will pay that as you go forward. Same thing with media. You guys signed off on the media plan, but we need to let you know that we're going to pay, you know, Mobile Fuse, the vendor, this much money for the campaign. That way you guys know that all those estimates true up to the budget over the course of a year, because we're not going to spend it all at once. And then that way when you go back and look at your records, you can be like, great, for the spring campaign, we used this vendor, we paid them this much. For the spring campaign, we used this vendor, paid them this much. Because without that estimate, I have no way of tracking what you guys have approved besides just the overall spend. We want to make sure it's really crystal clear what we're spending the money on, and then we can offer proof of performance when we invoice it, so it's very easy for you guys. So you take that Mobile Fuse order, you can look at the backup that we provide to show the guarantee that proves that it ran, and then you can feel comfortable paying the invoice. So really, at the end of the day, it's more to protect you even than us, to make sure that you guys sign off on each individual estimate, not just an Uber sum, and then you wonder where that money's being spent. We never want that to happen. We want you to know where every penny is spent during the process.
So to clarify, we're basically, I guess, I thought we already did this, but anyway, so I get it. We're signing the estimates for each category, and then you'll bill us detailed invoices to be reviewed and approved by the commission at that point.
Exactly.
Okay.
So for example, like,
So-
let's just use like Rolling Stone magazine as just an example, all right? If you guys, if we're buying space in Rolling, I know we're not, but if we're buying space in Rolling Stone magazine for you, we're gonna let you know exactly how much that space costs for that insertion, for what we're doing. And sometimes for digital, it's a lot of insertions, but just to use that example, you guys sign off on that estimate, I can now feel confident going to Rolling Stone saying, I want to secure that placement. I have a guarantee from the client that they've signed off on this amount. We run the ad. In that example, I would tear that ad out, put it on the back of the invoice, send it to you guys, and you can have proof of performance. The money matches what we estimated, and then you can pay that invoice. It's really for backup for you guys more than anything, really. And it also makes us feel comfortable placing the media. So like with the spring media, the reason why you have a batch of estimates as signed is you're not wrong. You signed, it's roughly called, $100,000 plus a DARA for 40, but you signed off like $100,000 for media. We're not just going to go spend that money. We need to let you know exactly what we're spending it on. That's why you get like 10 invoices, because one's going to be for a DARA, one's going to be for mobile fuse, one's going to be for, outdoor life. It's all going to be, very chopped up so you guys understand exactly, because you guys could change your mind, right? Let's say that you approve the overall budget, and if for some reason you don't want to do a print publication that we had in our plan, we can't place that media unless you guys sign that estimate. So if you change your mind, you can say, you know what, we changed our mind, we haven't placed it because we don't have that estimate. So it's really to protect both of us.
David, you have questions?
Yeah, so, first of all, Michael, is there any way that your crew can join in on the video? So I'd like to see faces if that's at all possible.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I thought I did, my bad. I know you guys are working off a hotspot, we're just a little concerned.
Yeah,
about
we
that.
are.
If this works, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, great, there you all are.
Yep, sorry about that.
So we signed off on the budget, we approved it. You guys are now sending estimates under division names, project numbers, et cetera, et cetera. Is this, since these have not been signed, is that why the spring campaign has not kicked off?
Yes. Because
So-
I can't go back to the media team and say, in good faith, they have not decided to change their mind. They absolutely want to run this ad. They've signed the estimate, and now I can go to because we are ultimately, you guys are on the hook too, but ultimately I can go to the spring media buy and say, buy this space, I have an estimate that says that this is approved by the client, then I can secure that space, and then we can give them deliverables and they can run.
Okay, was
So I
anybody,
think there might have been, and again, obviously you guys, it's new processes in place a little bit on your guys' side. I think maybe there was just some confusion, and I can see that now. And I guess, bad on us, I guess we just do it for every single client. It didn't occur to me, because I guarantee you, if you go back to last year, you'll see the same thing. You'll see individual estimates signed for individual media publications. You'll see an estimate signed for the retainer for the year. We don't bill you in full. That's just that you guys say, yep, we still want you to do account management services. Each month, you're going to get the total amount divided by 12, and we're going to send you an invoice for that. And again, and I apologize if that wasn't clear to you guys or you guys weren't familiar with it. It really is to protect you guys and to protect us so that we're all on the same page. The only exception to this is with the creative development, we know we have a bucket of money, and you have like 4 or 5 creative development invoices. We track that, let's say, let's just use $100,000. I don't know what we need to create right now. I can't forecast exactly what I do, but let's say that like Chris, we're working on some value messaging for you guys. That's new. Well, I go back to my team and we estimate that for that value messaging, for this print ad, as an example, I'm going to need X amount of dollars. I will send you an estimate for that will say that will cost $3,000, for example. We track that in our budget to know that we have $100,000 minus $3,000. And you guys always have the estimates for the creative development to go, okay, this is tracking, we're getting close to that $100,000. That's all that's been budgeted, and we won't spend a dime more unless we have approval from you. That's the only one that's a little different because we can't forecast out for the year. Retainer, I can forecast out for the year. Media buying, services, I can forecast out for the year. Social media, I can forecast out for the year. So we can give you retainers on that. The creative one's the only one that we do it piecemeal, because, I mean, as you can imagine, I don't know what we need yet. I wouldn't know what we're going to be doing in summer right this second, so I don't know.
So
how much creative-
did last year's contract not include media buys for spring? Because spring break is next week. And we
It-
don't
it-
have a
it did not.
campaign.
It did not, because at the end of the year, we were working through the contract, and then that went over into the new year. And, and again, like we said, we've been working since January in good faith. We haven't billed you guys anything. We're already into March, and we've yet to send you guys an invoice for our fees or anything, because it's all in good faith, because we know you guys are we're trying to do this together. So, yes, the plan was not set for spring for this year, because it wasn't for last year.
All right, so we could move on, but we will not have a spring campaign, is what I understand.
Yep.
Okay.
No, you can have a spring, we have organic social running right now, that never stopped. And we have a spring campaign, we can turn it on next week. I mean, it'll be a little delayed. Originally, we were hoping to get it started on the 6th. And it's not, it's a spring
right,
campaign, it's
yeah.
not a spring break campaign,
anyone
because
seen
obviously kids are,
Well, that's what
at that time
this
is
is
gone,
all
but it is a
about.
spring campaign that we can turn on. And again, I apologize if there was a confusion about getting those estimates signed. It's just my hands are tied. I can't purchase media without an
Okay,
estimate.
and so you guys are going to show us this campaign now and some other stuff, is that correct?
No, today we were just going to do two things. One was going to be to give you an overview of 2022, is what I understood, Chris.
Yep.
And then we're going to go through the website changes. The spring campaign
We
budget has
approved
been
it.
signed off, and I didn't know we wanted to go back over that. All those estimates are just kind of formalities for the campaign to launch.
It was
We've already got approval on the spring campaign, so.
I'm sorry, it was your first meeting, I think, and I went through it, and then, it's probably a whole bunch of more, but
Okay.
we touched on it then, and then we approved it then.
I think actually it's before we started. So I don't remember doing that either.
Well, the spring deal, because you came in late that meeting,
Yeah.
and I went back and did it again, the presentation again.
Oh, that's right.
I think maybe. yeah.
David wasn't here yet. Yeah.
David wasn't here, sorry. So it was approved at that meeting before you came.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the creative goes for that, we're doing a mix. There was a request to do some value messaging, so we've been working on that. And quite frankly, we've already started working on some of that creative, even without the signed estimates, just because we're trying to get ahead the best we can in good faith. So, we've done some Spotify ads and things like that talk about the value messaging. And then we're also going to be repurposing creative, because we didn't have the time to do a whole new creative development for the short runway we had for this year's spring campaign. What we're doing in the background is we're working on the rest of the year's plan. That will go into the next year, so we won't lose Valentine's Day and things like that. That's what's happening in the background while we're just trying to get through the spring campaign right now.
Okay.
Yep.
And to clarify, I see it, the fine print on each of these says, client signature authorizes agency to proceed with job production on their behalf as stipulated above and as per overall contract terms between the parties. So if I read that correctly, it doesn't supersede the contract, correct?
No, it's purely related to the budget,
Right.
right? So you guys approved X amount of dollars for media. Every single time I place media, I have to have you sign off on it, so there's accountability.
I got a
That way,
question
you
for-
guys literally know month to month exactly what we've spent money on, the proof of performance when you get the invoice, and you guys can track as well as we do the budget overall to make sure.
That's what I want to ask you about, the proof of performance, that will follow with we're going to approve the estimate, the invoice will come with proof of performance. What will follow with that proof of performance? What will it tell us?
But it depends. If it's a digital media buy, it will tell you how many impressions were served, right? Overall, how many people saw the ad. It will tell you if we're tracking click-through, it'll tell you how many people clicked through.
Okay.
If it's like an Adara campaign, we can tell you how many people actually booked a trip from the ad directly, like they clicked on a banner and they ended up booking a trip. If it's a print ad, it will be the verified circulation of the publication after when they do their audit. So we'll know that this ad was in a circulation of 100,000, for example.
That's what I thought. I would just want to clarify that.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Do y'all want to see the 2022? I mean, we can go right into the website. We
I
can
just
do,
have a question for Scott real fast.
Okay.
I thought we reduced the overall budget from Paradise and took out that content creation so that we could create our own content locally.
I remember us talking about it, but I don't recall.
Can we pull those minutes and find out what was actually approved? Because I'm pretty sure the overall approved budget was minus $100,000 for us to take that money and create our own content.
Was that the meeting where Autumn was questioning, she said something about a shell game or moving money, and I remember that meeting.
It was the meeting where we approved the budget. It would be
If
that.
you guys would
meeting.
like, I could put up on the screen the approved budget, and I could walk, you do control some funds this year that we don't control. Would that be helpful for you?
yes.
I have a question for
It's
Michael.
not in here.
Yeah.
Michael, I sent you an email.
100,000. Well, this is the breakout of all of this. It's not.
I'm pretty sure that we took out $100,000 of content creation so we could create our own content locally. And then at that time, we also discussed the importance of us trying to bring social media more
In-house.
into house, right? We realized that was important. To bring that back. So if you go back to, I don't know, whenever we signed the initial contract with Paradise to handle social media, we just didn't have anybody, we didn't have any staff to handle social media. And so we moved in that direction quickly because we wanted to get stuff kind of done, right? And then we kind of realized, towards the end of last year that we really needed to bring some of that back. But then now here we are again. We don't have the staff to fulfill that. And so I think the commission, last year, we had good conversations about the importance of doing our in-house, our own content creation, our own social media, some of that stuff. So we've had those good conversations. Now we just got to execute that plan, right? So we need to execute the plan of doing that, which hiring Scott as our director is a great plan. Now we need to get a marketing director. We need to get an auditorium director. Start executing that plan.
Whatever the commission instructed me to do with the books, I did it.
Yeah.
I know that got done, but there was a lot of conversation with Madison that I wasn't privy to, so when you're talking to me, I remember bits and pieces, but I don't remember the whole conversation. But I have a question for Michael.
Yeah, please.
I received an email from you about a week and a half ago, and you sent me an addendum where
Yes.
you wanted me to sign, giving you authorization to use unused travel fund from the year 2022, using it in 2023. I was
Yes,
disappointed
that
that,
was-
wait a minute. I was disappointed that you would even think that I would approve something in the prior year that was closed into a new year. And I want to hear your side of the story. Why would you do that? If someone that presents estimates and follows with invoices, as you said, and then here you're sending me a request to amend a 2023 addendum to the budget for travel that you did not use in 2022. I don't understand that. So I
Michael,
would
I'm
like to
happy
hear,
to
I want to
hop in
hear
on
your
that one.
explanation. I want to hear your Paradise Advertising explanation to that.
Of course. So you have already paid those funds.
I want to
So
talk to
our
Michael.
team-
Michael is whom I'm talking to.
Okay. Yeah, so you have already paid those funds. So quite honestly, I could, theoretically, get you a check cut today and send it back to you. The only offer we were offering is that us being, we had some travel funds left over. Being in market is obviously beneficial to us to be with you guys, with stakeholders. So that was the only thought was it was all done in good faith. It was like, we have this money, we could send you a check if you'd like that. Or if you wanted to roll it into the next year, you could save on some travel for the next year, and maybe we could have some more opportunities to come see you guys, because we're always looking for opportunities to go there. So I can understand where probably blindly you thought, I can see where you're coming from, absolutely, but it really was in good faith. I mean, honestly, if this is a problem, I will cut you, not me, but we can cut you a check immediately. It really was that $4,000, it can only be used for travel. Maybe we just roll it over to next year,
We've
we
already
get a
paid
couple
them.
more visits there.
I know,
That
but
was
why
all.
did we overpay them?
You didn't overpay. We don't, from a travel perspective, it kind of goes back to the creative. I can't forecast exactly how much airfare is going to be a year, 6 months from now. I don't know how much a hotel is going to
Okay.
be. So we'll put in an estimate, and at the end of the year, we're like, oops, we didn't, not oops, but, we didn't spend it all. What, do you want to check, or do you want us to roll it over? That's all.
So
Yeah.
we can put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah.
how to-
What-
how to
Again,
deal
I
with that.
apologize for any miscommunication.
Yep.
We're happy to send that money
Yeah,
back.
I
to you.
misunderstood too.
Yeah, that's not a problem. It was all, I just hope you know, it was all honestly in good faith.
Yes.
It's all fun, yeah.
Okay.
So they have $4,000.
Yeah.
Get on a plane, come see us.
All right, I'm there tomorrow.
Well,
No, honestly, that was really our
I
thought
mean,
process, is that.
and
we wanna
help us
spend time
hammer all
with you
this
guys.
out. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my opinion. Let's get them here and let's,
So,
At
get the marketing going.
$175 an hour, they won't be here that long.
Well, we wouldn't
okay,
be there.
let's get back on track. Do we want to go ahead and try to do the 22?
Yeah,
Report.
I'd like to see
I would like to
a
do that,
recap.
because I know that
Yeah.
there's some new people, and I think it's hard for you guys
That'd
to
be
know
good.
sometimes what we do. And I think
Yeah.
it's a nice opportunity. It's like 10, 15 minutes. It's not going to be super in-depth, but I think it will be helpful for you. So, Ashley, if you wouldn't mind sharing the PDF for me?
Michael, unfortunately, I don't have access. It looks like you need to give me,
Oh, sure, no worries. Then okay, hold on a second. Share screen. Multiple participants can share. Can you try that now?
all right.
Awesome. All right, let me just minimize this. Okay, so this is something that, we like to do with our clients towards the end, at the end of, after we wrap up a year. Last year was a little unique with just kind of how we were going through approvals and wondering what was going to happen for this year. So this is a nice time to do that now. Go to the next slide. Looking at it holistically, the 2022 highlights were great, right? We developed an annual marketing plan based on the budget allocations that were agreed to between us and the CAPC, right? So there will be holes in a year because we only have so much money. And this was what was decided for a plan by the past administration that we went to. We don't develop anything in a vacuum, right? You guys have to approve everything. So this plan was developed, and so you could find holes in last year, but there was reasons for it, because we have to make the money be most impactful in the seasons and with the targeting we can. Campaign creative development, we can show you, I'll show you just a snapshot of the amount of work we do on a yearly basis. We'll talk a little bit about Zartico and how we use the insights to help shape our media buying and our creative development and ultimately who we target. We have a comprehensive media plan. All joking aside, that's why you're going to be getting a lot more of those type of media estimates, because we have a very comprehensive plan, because we don't put all the apples in one bucket. We work for all levels of the consumer journey, and we tweak it, and this year will look different than next year because technologies will change. We're always trying to maximize the plan. Website redesign, that was started in 2022. We're going to talk about that right after this section. And then we had some award-winning PR efforts in the industry that we can take you through. So if you go to the next one. So you can go to so when we look at marketing goals, we kind of like to look at it two ways. One is awareness, right? So what is the marketing that's going to just raise awareness of Eureka Springs as a vibrant travel destination, right? Raise awareness for lodging options, activities, restaurants, attractions, and the more that you guys have going on that we can learn about, the more content we have for paid media, for social media, for the website to get it out there. Want to keep you guys top of mind and always in the consideration set. Most travelers have a consideration set. There's a set of places they are always thinking about going, and some places win more than others. That's where our targeting can help. Through things like Adara campaigns, if I'm searching just for a minute on Eureka Springs, the next thing I'm going to be served with is an ad about Eureka Springs. That's how targeted we can be, because they may have looked for Eureka Springs in the past but not come here. We can find ways to really drive them to actually book a hotel, and we can take advantage of knowing when that happens. And then there's a driving visitation. Drive those overnight stays among the targeted groups. Work on those midweek extended stays. We know the shoulders of like Monday through Thursday can be challenged. We want to find ways to get people to stay longer, and that's by promoting more, right? Chris had a great point the other day talking about Eureka Springs as really being a hub to so many things around the area. And it's got a value component too, because you're not as expensive as some of your neighbors. And if you're wanting to have a whole experience, why not think of Eureka Springs as a place to put your, put your hat on the post and really explore for a longer period of time? It's cheaper, and you have more opportunities to do that. Obviously, driving the taxes for lodging and food is important, and then the overall market impact. Yep, next one. So when we think about strategies, you really need that omni-channel approach, like I said. There are people out there that randomly are going to look up Eureka Springs, and that's where our targeting campaign can come in and hit them with an ad right away. There are other consumers that spend a lot of time searching for the destination they want to go to. We have to constantly hit them with evergreen awareness ads because we don't know when they're going to pull the trigger. So you can't, you have to be targeted, and sometimes you have to be more evergreen. We want to hit them before, during, and post-trip, right? Post-trips are important. That's where social media comes in. We want to encourage people to post about the great things they did so that, one, they'll come back, but also like-minded individuals of their friends, of their family will consider coming to Eureka Springs. Identify opportunities to enhance the consumer journey along the way. Make sure that we promote an array of robust, relevant, evergreen, and one-off content features that you guys offer as a destination. Identify those key need periods, right? So let's talk about, spring break. Again, in a perfect world, if contracts would have lined and everything would have happened, we could have hit that earlier, but that is a period that we want to make sure we hit. And for next year, we want to make sure that we're hitting key periods like Valentine's Day, not just hit them like 2 days before Valentine's Day, hit them a month before Valentine's Day, hit them 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. Monitor what restaurants are being booked up and don't put them on the social media calendar anymore. Put new restaurants on there that aren't booked up. That's how targeted we can get with all the stuff we do. And then ultimately utilize all the insights and research and data to really optimize the efforts throughout the year. So next slide. I'll just go briefly over this. It's really about identifying the target markets and the audiences. Try to find people that have a strong history of previous visitation. Your best consumer is one you've already sold before. We can do that by following them from the destination. You can have ads that we know someone's at a destination for a while, they've been using their credit card, we can track them on their mobile phone anonymously, and then when they leave the market, we can then track them again, with ads like, come back, we look forward to seeing you again. Things like that we can do to be really targeted to try to get them back. It's ultimately cheaper because they've already been there, so we don't have to sell so hard. Look within that 8-hour radius, that drive radius, inform, re-educate, and reintroduce the brand, destination offerings, and experiences to both the locals and the residents. We know, I live in a small town in New Hampshire. There are things going on all the time that I don't take advantage of, and I'm always ashamed of that. But when I see more marketing around those things, I'm like, oh, wow, I haven't been to that Playhouse in a couple of years. I really should go. That's a great thing for me to do. So it's not just the out-of-town visitors. It's also making sure the local community understands what we're doing, although most of the marketing is done for out-of-town. Next slide, please. So intelligent insights, next slide. For those that you don't know about Zartico, Zartico is an incredible planning tool that we have at our disposal. It's really the first operating system for destinations. What they're able to do, and this is all anonymous, they do not know who the person's data is, but they can literally track when somebody's coming in from another market and have arrived in Eureka Springs, and they can literally track where they are going within the destination. When you add all that up, plus where they're swiping their credit card, all this information gets weaved together. It's all just ones and zeros. We don't know anyone's name. Zartico doesn't know any name. We can find trends. We can know where people are coming from. We can know what parts of the season they're coming from, going to most. We can even, let's take the Odd as an epicenter that we know we want to spend a lot of time promoting this year. Where are they going after a night out at the Odd? They go see a concert? Are they going to one section of town? Are they going to a different section of town? Do we need to make some efforts do your partners need to promote more that they have this great restaurant that traditionally people aren't going to, maybe because they're not aware that that restaurant's in that area? That's targeting we can do, and that's information we can provide your partners. Just to give you a sense, in 2022, they were able to record 33,242 unique devices in your market. But understand, that is only 5% of the total visitors. So you use this as a guide, but still, that's a great sample size. And then for card holders, they're able to track that 14,961. You add that up, and from a statistical probability standpoint, you can make decisions on that, right? You can say, okay, there's something there that's good. Yep, so next slide. So I'll just give you a snapshot of some of how we use Zartico, which markets have the highest volume of visitation for your destination. Again, they know this because the person doesn't live or work in Eureka Springs. They are coming here on a weekend, they are swiping their credit card, all that data is being put together. So you can see here that Springfield is a high percentage of visitors of the total, and then it also talks about the visitor spending percent of the total. So that you have a high amount of people from Springfield visiting, but their spending total is quite low compared to other places where you have like Tulsa, smaller amount of people visiting, but their spending percentage is much higher. Next slide. And you'll have this deck, by the way, you guys can go through it. Which markets generate the greatest economic impact? Again, here's a list where you can see the percentage of visitors totals and the visitor spending of total. And that's important because one, from a sustainability standpoint and making sure that we're dealing with all the things that a destination has to deal with, it's maybe not the best idea to get a lot of people of one segment to come that aren't spending a lot of money. I'd rather have a little fewer people that are spending a lot more money possibly, right? Because that would help with parking, that would help with the locals feeling like there's too much, commerce going on. Those are things that we can tweak the dials and try to figure out how to make that work. Next slide, please. Where are your top 5 markets based on total visitor spending for 2022? And I won't go through this because we'll get this to you, but you can see that. Visitation by region. Okay, so where are they going when they get here? Downtown, where are they going to Southern Eureka Springs. Also, top visitation by point of interest. That's what POI is. So no surprise, accommodation's a big part of that, then retail and food and outdoor recreation. But again, something that stands out to us is, events is relatively low. Well, that's a challenge for us to figure out how are we going to make the odd a destination for great performances even more, and also how are we going to make sure people out of market are thinking about what's going on at the odd next weekend, what's going on at the odd in a month, and really actively being excited that this is a place that tends to draw great performances, great musical acts. I want to know what's going on at the odd all the time, and that's where this research can help us, because we could look back from a year of now, and if we do our job right, it's not whatever that number is, 4.5%. It's higher, it's 12%, and we know we're making an impact with what we're doing around the odd, and we can track visitors that are going to the odd with the devices and kind of see what they're doing. So that's another one. Just a map, because it's pretty, but just gives you a sense of kind of where your geography is, where people are coming from. Again, people are coming from lots of places, but we're focusing on the ones that have shown the greatest availability for us to reach in a cost-effective manner, are coming frequently, and are spending a lot of money when they get here. Next slide, please. All right, so branding and creative, next slide. All right, so this is a good example of why you guys are going to get so many estimates from us, and I apologize in advance, but it's because we live in a digital world. When I first started in advertising, I used Rolling Stone as an example. That's probably dating me. There wasn't a lot of insertions that you had to do. It was all pretty straightforward. A couple TV buys and magazines. With digital, every single buy we do can have possibly a different size of creative. It's unfortunate. I wish it was all standardized. It's not. There are some standard sizes, obviously, but there's also a lot of unique ones. So if you want to just flip through these slowly, Ashley, these are native ads. They blend into the content. Here's all the different sizes just for Expedia, Adara, and DigDev, right? Look at all those different sizes. Some of them are very small. Some of them are bigger. So when you think about why do they need money for creative? Well, a designer has to sit there and go, okay, we got a new piece of creative we need. I needed to work on a rather large banner, and then I need to work on a very small banner. Those take some hours. They just take some time to make sure it looks right. The small size ads are the hardest ones to work with. They go through the most rounds because you can only put so much information. Keep going, Ashley. Again, here's another example. Look at all the different creative that has to come. Some of these creatives rotate, right? They're animated banners. That's fine, but from a creative perspective, every single one of those things has to be animated. That takes a little bit of time. Next one. Again, another example of all the sites. Now, again, you're not signing off on each one of these banners, but from a creative estimate, I may come to you and say, okay, for the Expedia buy, I've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, 20 different sizes. I know that's going to take my guys X amount of hours to do, and then we got to proofread it, we got to do all that stuff internally. Then we got to traffic it out to the publications, then we got to get proof of performance, and then we got to bill you guys. The process is pretty involved, and that's just standard across the industry because digital has kind of blown up our world when it comes to creative sizing. So another example of some banner ads. Again, you can see how some of them are animated. Another example of, and this is just a slice of what we have to do within a given year. All right, so for paid media, just give you some highlights from 2022. When we talk about our target audiences, 25 to 54, household income around 75,000, millennials, Gen X, and then active boomers, 55 plus. Couples are the mainstay of what you guys do for an evergreen campaign. We always want to be targeting them. It makes a lot of sense. Obviously, when you're bringing people to the odd, it's going to be way more couples that are going to that. Your hotels are generally, appealing to couples. I know there's the vacation homes that will appeal to the family, and of course you have those as well. And then with couples, there's going to be periods like Valentine's Day and other periods during the year where it's really couple-centric, and we'll make sure to add on to that. And then families, spring break, obviously a good time for families. The fall is probably a good time too, because if you got, hay rides and things the families can do, get them out, get them coming from other markets. And then obviously summer, the kids are out of school, people are looking for great things to do. We want to get them there, get them to stay longer, get them to spend more money responsibly. Interest, outdoor, interest, outdoor nature obviously is a massive part of your culture, arts and culture and history, dining out, craft beers, and local wineries. Next slide, please. So what we accomplished last year, awareness, visitation, and spend. Okay, so we can say that all day long, but we got to show that to you. So we use key performance indicators, KPI is what we call them in the industry. So that's everything from click-through rates, that's video completion rates, and that's return on advertising spend. And what that means is that's the revenue generated for each dollar you spend on advertising for that specific tactic, right? So if I'm doing something for a specific tactic, I want to have a return on an investment. Sometimes it will be flat, and that's okay because the goal was for awareness, right? So I don't need them to click on everything, but overall, the ROAS is something we're always looking for. So what did we learn last year? We're always thinking about what we learned. Couples topped the total number of flight bookings. Hotel.com had the highest share of hotel bookings at 40.2%. Streaming had the highest percentage of video completion rate at 92% of all video campaigns. I mean, that is incredibly high. That means, again, these numbers come from the media companies, not from us. That means that when someone was watching, Hulu or something like that, and it's a free account, and they get streamed a video, they didn't skip it after 20 seconds like you can in some ads. They actually let it run all the way through. That's fantastic. Dallas is the top market for hotel bookings at 14.5%. Atlanta close second. Top markings for bookings through it's Dallas at 15%, and then top competing destinations were Little Rock at 34 and Fayetteville at a close 28.3. Next slide, please. I hope you guys can kind of see, and again, it's not too much more, we're going to get through this quick, but you see that it's not just spending your money, it's trying to spend your money wisely. And that's why we're so over the top with analyzing everything we do. I mean, all I do as the group director is spend my days in meeting where people present me data that I can then make informed decisions for the group. And I don't know everything. That's why we have a media department. That's why I have a digital department. But I can be the one to kind of shape everything and say, okay, what are we doing for the odd? We got to go back to the guys with a plan for that. So digital advertising overview, banners and native, over 7 million digital impressions last year just from digital banners, 81,000 clicks, and a click-through rate of 1.15%, which the industry benchmark is 0.08. All right, it doesn't look like a big number, but that's a big number in the world of clicks. Next one, please. Video, 2.2 million, over 2 million video impressions, over almost 2 million completed video views, an 83% completion rate. The industry benchmark is 40%. Again, it may not seem like a big deal, but that is a massive percentage for a destination like Eureka Springs to have. Next one, please. Paid social and Instagram, and we have a very robust paid program on that because we can target in a really great way. Over 12 million impressions, 181,000 clicks, and a click-through rate of 1.46 over an industry average of 0.9. And that we're happy with that. That's really good. Next, please. Pinterest, I won't go through all the numbers, but you know what the headline's going to be, a great click-through rate. Which that means is that our creative is compelling. That means that the storytelling is reaching the heart of the consumer, and we're also targeting the right person. Because if we weren't targeting the right person, I guarantee you that click-through rate would be really, really low. And that's like a top-performing creative that you guys had last year. We just put that on there for reference. And again, that was all about the curious indeed. So that was working very well. Next slide, please. Paid search. Obviously, if I'm searching Eureka Springs, I want that to come up, very at the top. Over 500,000 impressions, 77,000 clicks, and a click-through rate of 15.36 with an industry average of 4%. Again, these numbers are given to us. They are on the backup. It is what it is. These are really, really good numbers. And this goes to the offerings you guys have, the copy that my team can write, and the way the media company can target, and the media division can target. Next one, please. If we look at Expedia, and you guys know Expedia is not just Expedia. Expedia is a host of hotels and travel partners. But from them, we can see the performance summary for Eureka Springs, right? We know that in the campaigns we ran on the Expedia platform, they had almost 800,000 impressions, over 1,000 clicks, a click-through rate of 0.14. We know that 568 rooms were directly booked from one of our ads. They clicked on the ads, and then they went and booked a room. We can see what the gross billings were, and then we can see our return on advertising sales being at 5.3. And that was for the spring campaign. Next one. I won't go into all this, but this is just interesting. You can kind of get a sense of who is coming. It's like on the right-hand side, family, 15, not surprising, 15.9%, multi-adult, meaning couples, or, more than 2 adults. Obviously the highest there, star rating of the hotel they go to, and then when they're booking their travel window. We know when COVID was around, people were booking like 24 hours in advance because they were afraid that the world was going to end. They didn't know. That's relaxed some. We're starting to see longer bookings. That means it's a healthy travel environment. We want to take advantage of that, because from a meeting buying perspective, you may say, why are you advertising for spring break so far out? Well, we're doing that as an example because we know people are booking longer. So if they don't book with us, they're going to book with someone else, and we got to get them when we do. So we're always monitoring those information. Next one, please. This was the summer fall campaign. I won't go through all this, but again, very good numbers across the board for Expedia. Next one, please. Same chart. Again, we'll send this to you guys so you guys can dig into this, and we can always get back on the phone with you. And with Zardico, we're happy to bring them on. They're a great partner of us. They can really answer any questions you guys have even better than we can, because they live and breathe it. Ashley, I'll turn it over for you for a couple of these slides.
Sure. So wanted to talk about some specific advertising placements that we had that directly reached the niche audiences. You'll see Michael outlined those earlier, such as the outdoor traveler. One of the first partnerships we did was with Visit Arkansas, so the state tourism office, a great partner that you have advertised with for a long time. There are a few different opportunities that we did last year. So the Arkansas Travel Guide, which was both print and digital, you can see that included almost 500,000 impressions, including newsletters, and includes around a 3,000 viewer a month readership. Again, those outdoor and cycling niche audiences, the state has opportunities to co-op with that. So you participated in those, including a full page ad in both the print and digital version, and then additional placements on arkansas.com, which came to 250,000 impressions. So again, a really great partner. And obviously this is a group of audience who know specifically that they want to travel to Arkansas, and then are working on refining which city in Arkansas that they want to go to. So it's a great captive audience to partner with. Next, we did some print advertising with Cityscapes and the Fun Guide. So these are print advertisements, and you can see especially here towards the end of the year, did some holiday travel, which the team had expressed was an interest, and so we targeted that audience. We know that these are regional travelers, so wanted to bring some regional travel in for some families that were perhaps doing some shopping and retail experiences around the holidays. Additionally, so we partnered with Butterland Overland Trail brochure. So while that is a mouthful, this specifically was an opportunity for weekday travel. So as you can imagine, as someone is out and about on the country doing an auto tour, they're traveling the whole week. And so really heard the teams ask to do some midweek travel to drive that traffic during that time. So participated, and this was both a brochure and a digital brochure, equating to over 100,000 impressions for this opportunity as well. Next was Atlas Obscura. So Atlas Obscura is one of the top publications in the travel industry. And the really great thing about this is you have a captive audience who spends a high amount of their income on travel specifically, and they're looking for the opportunity that is unique, that is not the everyday opportunity that mass groups of people are going to. So not only do they follow the brand themselves, but this is an opportunity where there are actually fellow travelers on the website who say, you know, I went to Eureka Springs and I got to dine in a cave. How cool was that? And they share their opportunities as well. So really pleased with this, and this saw over 3.4 million impressions for this campaign. Additionally, as Michael mentioned earlier, a really great press campaign throughout the 2022, and actually Eureka Springs won an Adrian Award for this. So the Adrian Award is the standard industry award that really showcased the best campaigns in the industry for tourism and hospitality. So they really saw that the work that the team did and the recognition Eureka Springs got, and really stood out among its peers for public relations. So just wanted to kind of go through some of those placements today. You can see here some heavy hitters like a Thrillist, Cosmopolitan, Travel and Leisure, Southern Living, and Forbes. And really want to point out as well that this covers a variety of different topics as well. So you see that it's a top 10 wedding destination. You see outdoors adult spring break. You see lots of different themes covered here throughout all of these different publications. Some additional placements here. You can see Yahoo, Forbes again, Best Life. So some really great placements. And again, we have this whole list of all of the placements for 2022, which we would be happy to share at any point in time, but just wanted to provide some of these top level hits here for you. And so for that campaign, there were an estimated 14 billion impressions for press of Eureka Springs in 2022. So really an incredible, amazing number that just goes to show how much people enjoy the destination, how much they want to read about it, how much they want to come visit based on what they read. And we like to showcase as well, not only of impressions, but obviously this is earned media, that you are earning those media placements. But if you kind of equate that out to a paid dollar amount, that would equal about $131 million of paid advertising spots had it not been earned.
Right, if you were buying the pages in those bags. By the way, that one is from 2021. It's just the way Mark Crack did the information for us. They're the ones that track all this, so it is 2 years. But still, I mean, it's an amazingly impressive number. It's great.
And organic social. So as Michael said, that this is something that runs continually, day-to-day, full service. This is not only the content creation, content curation, but this is community management and social listening. So not only is our team actually providing the CAPC staff with a full content calendar for the month that kind of overlines all of the imagery, the actual copy for that, any businesses tagged, we actually track all of the partners that are mentioned in every post, so we can make sure that each month there's a good rotation of all of the partners being mentioned so we can showcase everyone. But this includes community listening 24/7. So that's, it could be 8 at night, going to make sure that the comments section, there's nothing that needs answered, making sure that there's nothing that needs attention and monitoring. So this is continual listening and optimization. And again, that monthly reporting for that. Additionally, we curate and manage with the content curators. So you've seen before, we have some additional content creators who have come into town. So our team does all of those logistics for that, helping the CAPC staff recognize where there's opportunity to bring visitors in and partner with different stakeholders within the destination. For example, we know that this influencer coming in really is interested in outdoor friendly travel, so they would really love to stay in a tree house or something, and identifying some ways to get partners involved with that and coordinating those logistics with those influencers. So over the 2022, we saw an increase of about 6,000 fans on Instagram, which equated to about 2.6 million impressions. And again, this is all organic. So this is not the paid advertising through social that Michael spoke to earlier, but this is just by curating and programming that content into the different social media channels. And about Towards the end of 2022, we're sitting about almost 30,000 fans on Instagram and about 106,000 followers on Facebook, which saw an increase of nearly 7,000 followers over the year and a total of over 33 million impressions for the year. And with that, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. No, and the one thing I was just going to say, you can go to the next slide, but one of the things I was going to say is that, what we hear from destinations a lot, and you guys are not wrong, which is that how can you do social media when you don't live in the market, right? Okay, it's a reasonable thing to think about, but one of the reasons why you have an agency that's an integrated agency like us do that is because we can take the learnings that we've got all across all the brands and refine that for your social media. When we know certain ads are working well that we're doing in paid media, I know that content will probably spike when we go to organic. If you're doing it just all yourself, it's harder for a person who's that's only part of their day to do. Now, the solution for that is that I know you guys are hiring people, is to work with you guys to find ways to get that content sooner, so that we can have a repository of great content that we can use when we see a spike on the paid side. I can go to the social team going, someone's really interested in this because we're seeing it on the paid side. It's getting a lot of hits. Let's go to the repository. Let's take that out. Let's put it into the social calendar. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's a very common thing that we're not in the market. Is your social media super effective? I really believe this to be true as I've been doing it for long enough that if you don't do it in a 360 standpoint, you miss out. You might put up co-posts, you might make a couple, stakeholders happy overall, but you'll miss out on all the opportunities of all the intelligence that we have because of all the paid things we do. But that doesn't mean it can't be better. That doesn't mean we don't have a lot of work together to do if we can, as we continue to work with you guys. But again, I want to help you guys. I want to come to market. I want to work with the new people you hired. I want to teach them what we need as an agency to make you guys even more successful and find ways to do that. So last thing I'm going to touch on is the next slide. As we're going into the planning for after spring break, we're always looking at trends, right? Consumers are wary of a possible oncoming recession, so a value message still has a play here. But they still feel that travel is a priority. People have this long tail pent-up demand from COVID. They want to get out there, they want to do things, but they want to do it in a smart way. So that's why that value thought that Chris had, I think, is really smart, and we're really exploring how to make that so it's not, we don't want to come off like you're too obvious. We want to also protect the brand while we talk about value. Despite recession concerns, consumers indicate that they're excited about the prospect of leisure travel. The travel search volume increased 10% year over year on Expedia websites in Q4 2022. And this is all from Forbes, Expedia, and Traveler Insights data. While most travelers are planning and searching for trips in the short term, share for longer-term search windows increased during Q4 2022 as travelers looked ahead to 2023. That's information we can use throughout the year. A survey from Booking.com found that nearly half, 49% of the respondents, selected that they are likely to spend more on their next trip to make up for lost time. This is just I had to struggle to figure out which ones to put in here because we just have reams of research, right? And I just wanted to put a couple in here. But again, that's what, as an agency, we're always trying to do. So with all that being said, I hope you see we have a real passion for your destination. We really do. We're always trying to find ways to bring people to experience what you have. Every different, management that comes into an organization, obviously you guys are going through a little bit of a transition now, is going to have new ideas. We're here to listen. You're going to have new thoughts. We're here to test. You want to try a new idea? We've got the resources to tell you, don't even bother because we have the research that says it's not going to work, so let's not spend the money. Or we can track it, come back to you and say that actually worked better than we thought. We're going to tweak that for the next quarter. So with that, I know that was a lot, but I hope that maybe that gives you a little bit of a better sense of kind of how we work as an agency with you guys. Hopefully it gives you a better sense that there's a lot of moving parts. There's, so when you see some of these estimate numbers and things like that, there's a lot. There's a lot of teams working on this. There's a lot of checks and balances, and there's a lot of making sure that we are being responsible for how we're spending your guys' money and coming back to you if we have different thoughts and challenging ideas to make sure we're spending the best way we can. So with that, I will open it up to any questions you have, or we can go into the revisions on the website.
David?
Don't look at me that way, Chris.
I knew it was coming.
Actually, just two questions, Michael, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Can you email that presentation to Scott so that
Absolutely.
we
Yep.
can see it? We have a
minimalist.
I'll call it a minimalist TV screen that we're reading your information
Oh,
on.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
very hard to read the data that you presented.
Okay.
And my second
Absolutely.
question.
No, I want you guys to have a copy of this because I want you to read it and come back to us with questions.
It
Yeah.
needs to go on the website.
Yeah.
It needs to go on the website,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. My second question, when you were talking about social media insights, and you brought up a very valid point about how can someone write about our city that doesn't even live in our city.
Yep.
And that's been a challenge, it seems, from your team, because they're creating content that isn't accurate. And it's not being taken down quickly enough when someone brings it to the attention of whoever posted the content.
Yep. Some of that, we have to be, as you can imagine, because you guys live in the social media world to some degree, there are a lot of comments that we have to double check are true. Because if we took down everything immediately, it can get a little sticky. So we always try to take it down as quickly as we can, but we're always trying to double check that something is
No,
accurate.
I'm not speaking about comments. I'm talking about content.
Content, oh, okay, gotcha. Yes, that's something we need to improve upon. I'm not going to make any excuses about that. That is something we need to improve upon. It does, with other destinations we work with, it does help, and it's a two-way street. It helps if we can get as many new assets as we can with any sort of stipulations on them. A lot of times the repositories we don't know a restaurant went out of business. And we'll call to check, and they still have a number that rings, and they still have an answering machine. We can only do so much to make sure that the business is there. I think our hope in the future, kind of like what we did for the website business listings, is that, I don't know who exactly did it, but Scott and Chris spearheaded that. We ported over all the listings from the old website. It turns out a lot of them don't exist anymore. We would have no way of knowing that. But going forward, I want to make sure we have a process in place that we are making sure that anything that goes up for a posting is accurate, and we don't run into that problem again. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Were there some problems in the past? Yeah. Are they addressable? Yes. Is it at a better value overall if we can fix this? I really believe so. So I'm willing to go there and figure this out for the future.
I'm not making excuses. There's been no staff, and so I'm the liaison, and I'm not staff. Now I don't monitor everything. I don't monitor
Sure.
their posts and all that. If I see them, I see them, and I'm fairly new. I don't know everything, but I had, like, when someone emailed me, I did pass it along. But people need to email Scott, and then now he's got an office coordinator. I think she'll be able to help a lot with that.
Oh, that's great.
Which will help them,
Yeah.
But there's some responsibility on our end too that is missing. Just it is what it is with the staffing.
Yeah, and again, that's something that as you get people in place, I'm happy to come down. I'm happy to sit with those new hires and explain to them what we need as an agency, figure out a way that we can have a repository that's as up to date as possible. Maybe that requires a quarterly audit, right? We're not doing that right now. That's probably a smart thing for us to do, and that's something I could put one of my people on with one of your people, and they could just spend a day going through and making sure that these businesses are up to date. Maybe there's a business that you don't want on there for some reason because they're going to close in a month, and you don't want people trying to make reservations for next month. All those things would be great intel for us to have. And again, the good news is I really do believe this is a problem that can be solved. We just need to put our heads together and get there.
Any other questions?
I just have something for the commissioners. How many of you guys use Expedia in your bookings? Are you guys using Expedia, hotels.com?
He does.
Yeah.
I just wondered if we've spent a lot with Expedia over the last few years through Paradise, right? And I just wondered if you felt that presence in your bookings. Like, I don't use Expedia, so I don't.
To be honest, our OTAs have decreased and gone more to direct bookings
Direct bookings for you.
through our website. Yeah.
Do you use it?
I don't use
You
those.
don't use it. So,
The one, it's a.
Mark, are you using hotels.com, Expedia, any of those
Well,
platforms?
I'm on them through Vacasa.
Okay, you are now?
Yes.
And you don't know how, so that's too soon probably for you to know. I was just curious
Yeah,
if
I
you've
just got on
seen
in
that.
December,
It's more
so-
the hotels.
Yeah, it's more the hotels.
Basin, Crescent.
Which is kind of my point, we're doing a lot with Expedia. Is there a platform out there that's good for direct bookings? Is there a platform out there that's good, that might benefit some of the people some of the smaller places, like I just have 4 units, right? And so
Yeah.
is there a platform that we really should be looking at that might
That's a very
address
good
some of
question.
that? And then also, I know that on the website, we could have, I know we're not there yet, but eventually we can have direct booking through the website, correct?
That could be an option, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's set up
I
to-
think
for any
that's
sort of
something
plugins you
we
want to do.
talked
Yep.
about. I just wanted to bring that up because I know we do spend a lot of money with Expedia, Hotels.com, and I think it's really worked well. I'm not doubting any of that. I'm just saying, I think there might be part of our nightly stays that are missing, right?
Yeah.
Because they're Airbnb, they're VRBO, they're direct bookings. And I just want to put that on the table because I think it's something we need to talk about at some point, how to make sure that everybody's getting marketed.
Yeah.
And some of that is, like, Vrbo is included with the Expedia portfolio, so there are some crossovers with some of that. But that being said, and Chris, we've had this conversation before, which is there too much weight? The beauty of Expedia is I can track all the way to booking, right? So I can get a really good intel on how the ad's working. But do we need to tweak those dials a little bit? We're happy to do that. That's part of what we'll have in our planning conversations moving forward. So it's a great note. Thank you.
Other questions?
The only thing I would like to say is while our group was at the Arkansas Governor's Conference in El Dorado, which was wonderful, I learned so much, but I did talk to some people that do business with your company.
Yeah.
And one of them handles the Arkansas Cycle Guide.
Okay.
And they told me that they had tried to reach out to you because they're on a 2-year contract and they did not know whether to continue with the center picture or not. So they showed me the center picture, and I live in Eureka and I don't even know where it was. And that's what bothers me about this content you guys are talking about and how you keep it updated, et cetera. And that worries me. I'm worried about it. And I'm going to hold you to it, and I'm going to watch. Because if you start pulling things out of the air that's over in Israel or something, who knows where it's coming from, I want to make sure it's Eurekan. And
You
because
can absolutely
we're
hold me to
paying
that
you good
because
money for that, and I want to
Yeah,
see
no,
it. I want
that
to see
would-
results.
Absolutely. No, you can hold me to that, and I'll remember this conversation. I will look into that. Obviously,
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can talk to the media team, and I'll get back to you on
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
That was the Arkansas Cycling Guide, right?
Correct.
Okay. I will talk with the team first thing tomorrow morning.
That was
Thank
a motorcycle guide, right?
Yes.
Motorcycle.
It's a Arkansas motorcycle.
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 But
Okay,
I think on your, I looked on your website and that you just presented, I thought you said Arkansas Cycle Guide, but it is a motorcycle guide.
Okay.
Maybe
great.
different.
It's probably different.
Website.
All right, let's put it up there, Ashley. So I'll actually kick this off really quick. So, and then Ashley's going to take you through it. Obviously, I know you guys individually all had a chance to look at this. And a couple of caveats. This is on the development site. Development sites are always slow. It's the way development sites are. Once this is onto a server, it will move much faster. So that's just the nature of development sites, just how it is. The comments that we wanted to address was we were using dynamic resizing. If maybe you can show them that for a second, Ashley. Part of dynamic resizing is that it allows the pictures to look good both on a mobile platform and a reasonable size on your computer. Now, if you're looking at this on a computer and you make your window the size of a Post-it note, of course the picture's not going to be all there. It's just, but no one's ever going to do that. So what we did do is we did take your note, which was a good one. For the example, this one where you eat, you can now see the faces of the people. The woman on the balcony, it's not just showing the lower half of her body. So we did make those adjustments. We're still going through, there might be a couple here and there, but we're still refining all that. But we did take your note and we did make that happen. The second thing we wanted to make happen was get to the listings faster, right? It's kind of like that old thing in music, right? Get to the chorus. So we did that note, and if you want to click on like outdoor activity, I should do arts and culture, or either one's fine. So arts and culture, right now, there used to be inspiration, inspiration guides before you got to the listing. Now, you literally go right to the listings, right? So for arts and culture, if you want to go to like hotels, Ashley? Excuse me. Again, it was a great note. We were trying to do a couple different things there, but you're absolutely right. And again, that's why we work together as a team. Get to the listings. We are at the listings. They are on there right there. And then the other note was we want to work on the forms for people to put that in. I'll let you drive that, and you can take me through the forms.
Sure. So we do have the submit your listing form live. So typically how this works is one of your stakeholders would go onto the website and they would complete the form to have their listing added to the website. And once we receive the information, this is actually done manually, so it is something that we upload. Unfortunately, it's not like the calendar where when the form is completed on the front end, it automatically populates on the calendar. So this would be submitted, and then our team, your staff, would review all of the listing information to make sure everything looks good, and then we would update it to a listing. So we do have a form here on the partner section of the website where they can upload the listing, and we wanted to make sure as well that they are confirming that they do have the rights to utilize the photos that they are uploading to the website, and not only that they have the rights to do that, but they are giving the CAPC the rights to use those for marketing and promotion. So they would complete this form. We have it set now to automatically send to Scott's email and here to Paradise upon submission. Obviously, as the staff changes on the CAPC team, we can adjust that easily, but that is set here for businesses to submit the listings. We also would recommend that they go to this place to update the listing as well. So if they wanted to change a photo, perhaps they repainted the building and it's a different color, so they want to let us know to update that photo, they could use the same form to do that.
Right. And that's one of the things we'll recommend, that as you guys get ready to launch the site, after you guys had a chance to look at these changes and we finish the business listing updates, we would recommend that you have some sort of plan and attack of communicating with lots of your stakeholders that are on the site. Because they're going to see other people's pictures that got a lot of pictures, and they're going to get bummed. They're like, why don't I have 20 pictures? Well, the reason why you don't have 20 pictures is because the agency doesn't have 20 pictures. So if you want 20 pictures, here's a way that you can put up your pictures, and then we'll take. And to piggyback on what Ashley said, obviously these things don't automatically go up, and that's done on purpose. We have to be able to vet the people that are putting these up. Otherwise, you're going to get 1,000 non-events all over the calendar that people are going to show up and be disappointed. Right. So we really do need to physically review them before we put them live. Otherwise, you're just going to be, you're going to be in a circle.
Really quick question. When you clicked on where to eat and where to stay, I like the fact that you did not alphabetize everything. And I had made a comment to Scott, is there any way to have those listings within those two categories rotate, say, every month or so? Just to be fair and equitable.
We can do it so we can rotate at a different durations. You could rotate every time you click on it if you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the fairest thing to do for all the stakeholders, for all the restaurants, the bars, the hotels, the shops in town, whatever.
And to just confirm, are you inquiring about the menu here, the listings, or the actual listing on the page?
If you would click on,
I thought
we need a bigger screen.
I thought we requested, and you had said this was
Yeah, under
happening.
food and drink.
So like these actual listings on the page?
Yeah, so
for
like
those
I'm
to
looking right
rotate
now
through?
at New Delhi, Eureka Springs
Those
Coffee
will-
House, Got a Hold. So I guess my question is there a way, monthly or bi-monthly, to make these rotate?
Yep.
So that, New Delhi isn't always the first business that pops up.
Right.
And,
Yep.
my business isn't always the last, or anybody else who's sitting at this table.
Absolutely, that's 100% going to happen. We can talk about the frequency of that as well. It's not live. We got the updated business listings, I think, on Sunday night, so we still have a few more to get through. It's quite a long list. Once that's done, we're gonna click the button to make it all randomized.
Okay.
And we can talk before we do that. Do you want it to randomize literally every single time someone goes to the page? We can do that. If you'd like to randomize it once a month, we can do that as well. That's kind of a conversation we can have together to figure out what feels the best for you guys. But it is a functionality that is ready to go and to be
Let's
turned on.
just decide. I just think it should be random every
Random.
time.
Yeah, I
I do
agree.
too.
I agree.
Let's
There
not
you go.
wait, let's make a decision
Yeah.
every time.
Every time.
Anybody object to that? That's fair and honest, let's be fair and honest.
Yep.
It's just,
Done. Okay,
just
that
put it
makes
in your
it
notes,
easier
make it happen.
Done. Love it. Okay.
Thank you,
That will
David.
be implemented when the site goes live. Excellent.
And I do want,
I'm interested
sorry.
in that, there's a sales tax form back on the previous screen. I'm kind of interested in that because we've had issues with taxpayers being able to submit their tax returns online, and there's a calculation issue, and there's also selection of the month they're filing. So that's a critical part of this website that needs to be corrected quickly.
Absolutely. So unfortunately, the platform that the actual form is built in is not something that we at Paradise have access to. So we certainly, if we can get access to that account, to that form, we can update it immediately. If not, our team is ready to help solve it and implement a new form.
Okay, let's implement it with a new form, because I don't want to try and recreate the wheel here.
Scott, I recall you had been working on a new form during the last
Correct.
meeting. So if that is something that you want to implement, if it's at that point, we'd love to have a copy of that.
I've got it ready. Let me bring it to the commission for them to make recommendations or approve, and you'll have it pretty quick.
Perfect.
That's a good job.
Wonderful.
We will do that. And I just wanted to kind of give an overall view from maybe some of the newer commissioners that the goal of this website is to condense all of the other existing websites. So right now there's the leisure website, there's the CAPC.biz, there's the odd website. So our goal is to be driving everyone to the same place with this website. That's especially why knowing how important the conversations are about the events at the odd is now brought into this website. So when someone is going to the overall full event calendar and looking for things to do, they're going to see the odd events brought into those events. And when paid media is driving to this page, they're now going to see the odd events as part of that paid media driving, where before the odd website was kind of all out to its own. And so that is our goal, to condense everything and make everything easily accessible for everyone.
Good job.
And this will help with SEO as well, because when you have one place where you're pushing everything, it's just going to naturally help with the SEO optimization. So, if you go back to the homepage for 1 second, the only other note I just want to I think we covered this last time, but just to let you guys know, that travel advisory banner is always on right now just because we're in the development site. That can be turned off. We don't assume that's going to ever be on there unless there literally is an emergency or something you need to tell. If there's a water main break that's going to affect lots of people, you let us know. We go on, we put in the text, we throw it up there for whatever period of time you want. We take it down when the emergency is done. So I just didn't want you thinking that's always there. It's just there so you guys can see what it looks like, that's all.
Can you also use that banner to advertise, let's say, for example, Amy Grant's will be here April 1. Is there any way to use that as a banner?
You could. I mean, I think we might even recommend to be more impactful than that, is like change out one of these homepage images, right? So instead of it being this choose your adventure or this where to eat, if it's Amy Grant you want to promote, we're going to put a picture of Amy Grant on there with a button to buy tickets.
I like it.
But to your point, we could use that banner as well, but there's other ways to do it too.
But you and I could work together to utilize that space. That would be good.
Absolutely. It's a
I like
great,
that.
right now, it's just kind of placeholder, but it's absolutely can be used for anything
Good.
you want to promote. And again, I know personally, and I know a lot of people on your side too, we want to make this the year of the odd to some degree. And I think this is a place we can really make an impact
Cool.
with
I like
what
it.
Ashley was saying, get that going. So,
I have a general question.
yeah.
I'm new to the commission, but I went to the tourism conference, and I was really impressed in a workshop I went to on people with disabilities.
Oh,
Not
okay,
as
yeah.
just accessibility, but as a group of clients we want to attract. And there's some really good reasons for that. One is people with disabilities like to travel on off times. So
You're right.
I want someone, if I'm a person with a disability, or even a person who's LGBTQ, and I'm looking for a place to vacation, if I look at this website, will I see this as a place that welcomes me, makes me feel safe, and wants me there? So
Well, I think, I'll let you go, Ashley.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak on a few things about that. Absolutely, and we agree. We want to make sure that all potential visitors feel welcome and find the information that they need to explore Eureka Springs when they get there. So 2 initial things definitely worth pointing out is that the website itself is ADA compliant. So all of the text, all of the colors, our team ensured that someone can come to the website and utilize it in a way that works for them. Additionally, someone brought up the website maintenance bucket. So our goal with that is one of the things that we do is we help your team write blog posts. So a great way to start with that would definitely to do a blog post that would be feeding into these different sections on how to participate in the destination. And that is one area we definitely draw strongly onto your team and to stakeholders to let us know, what are the best ways for someone to utilize and get around the destination for all of those communities.
And and what's nice about this website is it's very plug and play. And I mean that in a great way. And plug and play websites are actually very hard to develop. This is very plug and play so that if we feel like we need to have more hero imagery, we'll call it, of something that speaks more to a disabled community, we can do that. If we're going around Veterans Day and maybe we want to highlight for disabled veterans as an example, we can do that on the homepage. We could feature some listings in the hotels of exceptionally accessible hotels for people, right? So we can work together to find what that mix is. How much is too much, how much is too little, but it's a fantastic point, and I'm really excited to be thinking about that. With this new website, we can really dial in lots of different
The presenter at the conference was from someplace in Florida, I'm blanking, and they really made an effort to reach out to people with disabilities and say, our town's accessible, you can come here, you can have a good time. They created ramps to go down to the beaches. They created wheelchairs that went on the beaches. And I know that's a challenge, and that we're just talking about physical disabilities, with wheelchairs, but also with hearing impaired, visually impaired people.
Yeah.
If they look at this website, I want them to be able to see that this is a town that welcomes them, makes them feel safe. And I was really surprised at the conference. There wasn't nothing about the LGBT community.
Yeah,
And that's a huge population of people with disposable income that love to travel. And we do access that quite a bit here, but to look at the website as a gay person, when I say, this is a town that welcomes me in a conservative state that makes me feel safe if I come here, if I'm a transgender person. And I'd like to see that accessible too for information for those folks.
Absolutely. We can always adjust the dials to get to a place where we feel like everyone's being properly represented. Yep. That's great.
I have a comment.
Sure.
Will you work with me in this commission
Yes.
as we supply you content that's unique to our town? It's the reason people come to our town, because we live here for that reason. At least consider the content I send you to work into your overall plan. If you'll do that, I'll do my part, and you'll have a wonderful collection of historical pictures here that the numbers you've shown us will go off the chart this time next year.
I would love that. Content is, you can never feed the content beast enough.
Okay.
We live in, so if you have content, I guarantee you we will find a place to
Okay,
use
good
it,
deal.
not even a question.
Okay.
It's the number one question I get from all my teams is more
Okay.
content. That's what they want.
Scott, to your point, one of the problems that we've always had with the website, going back since I've been on the commission, has always been, we didn't have a lot of great pictures of some of the businesses, right? Some of the businesses that we had listed, a lot of the pictures of their own businesses weren't really what we needed. They weren't sized properly.
Yep.
So my question is for the commission, is there a program that we could put together where we had a list of photographers and we, reached out to businesses and said, hey, you can use these photographers. Is there something we can do to help get that content that we need?
I've been thinking about that ever since we got back from our conference, and I think that's what we need to look toward, and we need to provide this information to our citizens and businesses here in Eureka, including I'm interested in doing some drone footage, some short clip video
Yeah, but I'm
snippets, I'll
talking
call them.
specifically about, pictures of the individual businesses. Like, it's not this is not content creation for the destination. This is content creation for their own business. These are their listings, right?
Yeah.
And so the trouble's always been, if you're a retailer or if you're a small business, you may not have resources or access to great photography, or you may not have that. So could we just have a discussion at some point that says, hey, here's some photographers, we've worked out some really great rates, they know what kind of photography we are looking for, and then those people can then hire them, hopefully, to come in and take pictures that work to make the website complete, right?
What's bothered me is how do we treat everyone fairly and equitably, whether it's the business that has the funds, the disposable funds to hire and get a great picture versus someone that's struggling and doing well, but they shouldn't have a black and white picture in there amongst a bunch of great looking color.
Right.
That's not fair.
Right.
I just don't think it's right.
Well, I think maybe we should broker
wanna
some deals
help.
with some local photographers. Surely there's a couple local photographers that would love to help at a fair rate, and we just need sometimes 4 or 5 pictures. It would really dramatically make the website much better, because this has been an issue, right? It's just some of the businesses, they had older cell phone pictures
Yeah,
or whatever.
can you actually go back to the food and restaurant? I want to see some of those
I like
pictures
that.
changed.
Turn your mic on.
Did I understand that right? So basically, CAPC would buy the rights to pictures and then share with folks. Is that what you were getting at?
I don't know. I just want to have a conversation there,
Yeah.
right? How do we help them?
They're either
So-
purchased or given
Yeah.
with right to use.
And
That's what I was
And then that also brings me to, do we have just a media place where anyone who wants to share their media, do we have a place where I can just go and upload media of the town to the website? Or is there an email that we could easily do? Because I think there's just a lot of people that love to take pictures here that might want to share them.
Right.
They can put a watermark on them if they want to. That's fine.
We could help you with that. I mean, I would suggest, rather than emailing, perhaps having some place where people can upload it, because then at least you
Correct.
can have that check mark that says, we get to use these photos. Because what you don't want to have happen is someone randomly send you a
Yeah.
photo, you put it on the website, and they're like, well, I want money. And you're
I
like,
love the idea of an upload, where we can
Yeah.
upload, and look, we can make a couple social media posts about it. Hey, if you took a great photo in Eureka Springs today, upload it here, and check off
Yeah.
that we have the right to use it. There's just such great photography. I like to take pictures. I would love to have a place just to upload them, use them all you want. I just think that would be a good resource.
well, I
Melissa
will
takes
tell you
photos.
that we've gone into destinations before. Now, these, an iPhone, Android phone, pretty much any phone made in the last 10 years can take amazing photos. So
Yes.
not saying that you wouldn't want to still do some professional stuff, but I can't tell you how many times I've walked into local destinations and I've asked them, like, just for fun, to take a picture of their place, and they just hold it like this. And they don't realize that a lot of times we need this, right? It's not just the vertical stuff. Sometimes for like these header photos on the website, the hero, I call them the hero images, on like the homepage, we need a long photo for that to work. And we could do something where we even just do a little recording of a tutorial on how a business, just with the iPhone, they can make a dramatic impact in the photos they send us. And that could be something you could send out to your stakeholder and say, hey, listen, we've got this new tool, quick way to best way to take with your iPhone your pictures of your business. If you find some great ones you've taken, upload them to this server, and we'll make sure we get them on the site for you, that type of thing. So there's ways around it that don't all cost money, or, Scott, to your point, make it feel like someone's going to not get to participate because they can't pay for to have a photographer come. So.
I think,
And I was going to note that all of these galleries that you see on the bottoms of every page, these are actually user-generated content. So anyone who tags Eureka Springs, we can see their photos pull up into CrowdRiff, a platform you probably heard us mention before. So that is another way. That is another way for the sharing of great photos from the destination. Definitely would recommend everyone do that. And that is a way that when someone submits a photo through the platform, we actually do go in and say, do you give us permission to use this on our channels for our marketing and promotion, as in the Eureka Springs CAPC. So anything on Instagram, uploaded to there, we do have access to that as well. And you can see throughout the website, we really try to make sure that we are sharing photos. So whether that is community members uploading their own photos, they're included in here, visitors sharing their things. So if you go to the food section, you're going to see beautiful up-to-date photos of people in the destination. If you go to the weddings page, you're going to see beautiful user-generated content of people's weddings. And that's the way we've kind of found a stopgap in the meantime to be including some more updated photography.
And that's one thing you could communicate to your stakeholders too, is that maybe there's a little program we do where like they have a little table tent in the bar saying, have you tagged us today? Right? Because a lot of people will take pictures and forget to tag Eureka Springs, so then it doesn't go into CrowdRiff and we can't get that photo. If you can remind the, if I own a restaurant, have something to remind the patrons to tag the photos you're taking at the bar because, or whatever, a restaurant, because that could be useful for us to promote Eureka Springs to the world.
One thing I like about Facebook is you see pictures from last night.
Yeah.
This is the group, the karaoke, singing karaoke at Brews last night. And
Yeah.
then someone from out of town looks at that and goes, wow, that looks like a fun group, having a great time. And so more up-to-date, just constantly ongoing stuff, you know. I think
Yeah,
would be
and
helpful.
and encouraging them to tag, right? Because if they tag it on Instagram, we can grab it, and it also, it can go on our feed if we want it to, you know, so. You know,
When can we go live with the website? What's holding us up?
But nothing's, well, we got the listings on Sunday, so we have another about 48 hours to get all the listings updated, because some of them don't have, we just basically have a listing, so we have to go to existing websites and scrape off an image to put in there as a hero image for the listing. Then obviously, the job in the future will be to get to get the organizations to do that. So this can be early next week, we can go live.
I know that Michael had sent me, I think it was Sunday, and I went through his Excel spreadsheet, and I think, what we look at, over nearly 400 listings
Yeah.
in this, I'll say 72632 zip code, and we tweaked it, and I'm 95% certain that it's going to be correct, and we may have missed someone, but
You can pick them off.
yeah, we
later.
can pick them now,
Yeah.
but they've got an accurate listing.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was very helpful. No, thank you. The only thing that's slowing us down just a minute is that I don't want to put a listing out without at least one photo.
Right.
And I have the team physically going to their website, verifying it's their website, taking the photo and putting the address and the email. So it just it's taking a little bit longer than I thought, but that's okay.
It's
for the
labor
better.
intensive, that's for sure.
It's a little labor intensive,
It
but
is.
we're about halfway through. So I think by this week we can be done, and then I just want a couple days for testing next
Okay.
week, and then we can go live like on Wednesday or something like that.
Great.
And I recall at the last meeting, there had been some questions about the businesses that were included in the listing. So I did want to point out for the commissioners, the language that was pulled from the existing CAPC .biz website and is used here in case this influences any decisions or if we need to update the language. But the language that was included was we include all restaurant and lodging within the city limits, tax collectors, and all area attractions. So wanted to update everyone on the language that had been used.
Thank you. And that's something, and we can address in a meeting, because there's been different conversations.
Great. Well, guys, thank you so much. You know, I just want you to know,
Yep.
I mean, I'm the guy you can talk to anytime. I mean, I'm one that's leading this, so please reach out to me at any time if you have any concerns, if you want me to just jump on a call, because you got a question, you got an idea about something. I'm going to be getting myself in the market, and I want to spend time with all of you. And again, we're really here for you, and I hope we answered a lot of questions today. And again, if you have any additional questions, please reach out to me. I'm always available.
Thank
As
you
Scott
very
did. I was available on Sunday. See?
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Michael, Ashley,
you, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Do we need to have more discussion about
No, let's get it live.
website?
No, I think it looks-
A lot better.
Yeah, it's
Good.
better than it did before.
Good. Okay.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Start, and we need to keep it on.
Yep.
Every month.
Okay. And so I put on here the bylaws. Carol Wright had a copy of the bylaws the past commission approved. They were never published, so I don't really, I mean, we could probably go back and see it on a video. But, so Scott, I thought he was wanting him to print them, but I know he's having a lot of problems with the printer and all this stuff. So he'll email you the copies. so everyone can review them, and if you have whatever, we'll put that on the next meeting.
I don't know if they were ever published or not, but I think they were registered with the city.
Okay.
So they have an official copy down there. So
Okay.
we need to get them out. And I was on the commission when we ratified those. And really, the idea is to get a base the commission operated for decades without any bylaws. And so it was to get bylaws, and then every year they needed to be looked at and updated. And we didn't do that last year, just because of transition, but we need to do that.
So we'll put that on the next, just giving you a heads up, and those will come, and if you have time to review, it'd be great, and then we can have that in the meeting. So then, the other thing I put was to be thinking about strategic planning. We've got, obviously, sounds like we have concerns about our marketing, and that's one of our big tasks, right, is the marketing side. And so I was really hoping we can use workshops and starting even next month to layer in planning for next year, to really start aggressively looking at what we want to do. And so more on the strategic, if you went to the strategic class, she did a pretty good job at the conference, kind of outlining that process, but kind of doing some of that, talking through how we want to market next year and stuff, and maybe if branding or any of those types of things, wherever it goes, but trying to get us a little more strategic.
Quite frankly, I think the whole city needs to be branded under one.
Yeah.
I've seen so many logos out there, you don't know what
Yeah.
you're looking at,
Yeah.
so.
That's probably an important piece. That's really all I just put on there, just to kind of,
Can I add?
Yeah.
Number 6? I'd just like for us, this is not really working, right? So I'd like for us to consider moving our meetings to the basement, where all of this stuff, we look at so much media stuff, and we have so much that comes from Paradise, and
All meetings are going to the basement starting April.
so,
All meetings,
Yeah.
all commissions.
well, that would be our own decision on where we
Yeah.
have our meeting.
Well,
we-
the city
we-
council said all
Well, city
meetings.
council would make the city council decision, but we would make our own
True.
decision on where we meet, so.
Well,
I
if
thought
it
we made
comes
that
down
decision
to the
last meeting.
recording equipment and all that stuff, has to be moved down there, so it'd be,
Well, we could, what's required by law for recording, audio recording?
audio.
Yeah, which we have audio recording devices already. We could just record the meetings and be in the basement, and we'd be able to have that screen. I'd just like for us to move so we can
Yeah,
actually see.
so-
We can't decide
Scott-
that today, but
I thought we
We can
voted on
discuss
this
it.
last,
Huh?
I thought we voted on this last meeting, that
we
as of
voted on
April
time.
1.
And then we didn't vote on, we didn't do anything on the location. But, I
As
mean.
I understand,
the
we
no
will have
offense.
audio and video down there,
I have
correct?
a lot of respect for my city council brothers, but they don't set the rules for the CAPC. And so if we want to move our meeting
Yeah.
to
We have to.
Wanderoo, we can do that.
No.
I'd just like to see it on
please.
my next agenda. So we can-
I'll make that motion.
If we get free food, I would
I'll
definitely
make
be in
that
favor
motion
of that.
as soon as we open meeting next, we'll move to Wonder Room.
So,
We can do them progressive.
Yeah, because I think the only thing, I personally like
Let's just move
being
them around.
up here. The only question was, and I do think that we owe it to our residents to have video and audio. That's going to create a big problem if we don't. And then we also, this would fall under your strategic planning, is to revisit the time, because I've gotten a lot of emails and phone calls regarding the time.
we can
And-
revisit it.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I think it needs to be
Yeah.
put on the agenda.
yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about agendas, I understand what a lot of this means, but I want to remind people, the agenda is also for the public to see this in advance and going, oh yeah, I want to come and talk about that. Stuff like meeting logistics, I understand that, but it's like, what does that mean? A lot of people didn't understand what that meant,
Yeah.
and stuff. So if we could be a little bit more specific.
Oh, less,
on
well,
the-
because it was, yeah, I understand
Do
what
you
you're
understand what I
saying.
mean?
I mean, I
So
was
if people
just-
want to come and give their comments.
I'm a summary guy, so I'll try to be
And
more
I support that
succinct.
100%. You should see my summaries of
Yeah.
meetings and stuff. But I've got to remind people that these agendas are also for the public, so they can look
Yeah.
at it and go, oh
Sure.
yeah, I want to come and give my 2 cents about that. I have a real good point about that. So we don't want to cut them off by
No.
making them so brief, they don't understand what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, there was a time where we didn't have any agenda for workshops at all. It was kind of a little bit of free fall. So I appreciate agendas, so
Yeah,
at least we
that's
know
good.
we're, and to stay on point. The agendas for me always help to keep, stay on point.
But I'm really talking about the agenda for the meeting, when we
Yeah.
make
For the
this-
meeting.
we make decisions. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's
I'll
good for
try to,
workshops.
I'll try to,
Because some people,
I get what you're
like David
saying.
said, I got several responses from people saying, oh, I don't like the idea of you not recording the meetings,
Yeah.
videotaping them. Oh, I don't, and I was surprised, people had such a concern about the time in the meetings. I'm like, you know, we need to talk about that, but it needs to be on the agenda for the next meeting, so.
I mean, this meeting is more attended, or the regular CAPC meetings are more attended than city council meetings
Yeah,
at times.
And
So-
that's great.
It is.
I hope they come. I'd rather them come than
Yeah,
watch it.
and I want them to be able
With
to,
popcorn.
with that, you know, and I'm willing to negotiate. 6 is, you know, kind of late, you know, we all have families, but I do think 3 is too early.
Oh, man.
So,
If they're going to be 2 hours long.
I know.
I
This
agree.
last 2 have been
So
2
we've got-
hours.
We have to start at noon.
we've got to make a commitment
But that's the
to,
problem. We got a lot.
set the agenda
We have a lot
stick
of
to it.
stuff to talk about.
and I pointed out to people,
We really
making
do.
the assumption that majority of Eureka Springs people work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
No.
We're a
it's
tourist
tourism
town. That's
town.
why we
Yeah.
exist. So to say that, 5 or 6 o'clock for working people, I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
that's a false
It's,
assumption. So.
I mean, if we do meetings at 5 or 6, I'm going to be like, timer going off, like, we got to go. I mean, and we need.
see, I was thinking
we
like
need a lot of-
4:30.
Huh?
I was thinking meet in the middle at 4:30.
Yeah, we need a lot of time to talk,
Yeah.
work through issues, it seems.
I personally don't care, but, you know, I don't have
I mean,
business, I don't work, so.
it doesn't matter to me as well. I'm just passing on the information from
Right.
stakeholders
I gave
and
someone a
constituents.
response, well, 6 o'clock,
I like the idea.
there's restaurants, if they have dinner, that's
Yeah.
their slam time. So it's like,
I
but
like
then
it.
3 o'clock for some places for
4,
check-in,
3, 4.
so it's like, I don't.
I also like the fact that if we do it at 3 or 4, the staff they're not having to stay. They are working a set of hours, right?
Right.
And if we're asking them to stay until 7 o'clock at night, that has been an issue in the past with some of the staff, especially some of the staff that had to drive an hour to get home. And so that has been an issue in the past. I'm okay with 3 or 4 o'clock. It doesn't matter to me.
I'd like to hear the public. If someone has a good valid reason why we shouldn't have a meeting at a certain time or another, we should hear it out at least.
Yeah.
So on the agenda for next time, could we have meeting time
I got it right here.
and also
Yeah.
We're out at
Yeah,
6.
let's put
video
Put a cap on
recordings
it.
of meetings?
Like Chris said, we're out.
And what else?
Video recordings and not.
Okay, yeah, I'll have those on
But
the
that might
agenda.
have, I mean, I really don't care about where we have our meetings, but I do care that they're video recorded. You know, I think people do sit at home. I sit at home and watch these meetings before.
Yeah.
So what about if it's not live and it's recorded and published on YouTube? Part of the reason, my thought was like, I feel like it can impede debate because we're worried about the live camera. And maybe that's not true. But I've observed in the past, it impeded, it created a political platform. And it still may record it, but I don't know if that was just my thought.
For me, it's just simply been, this is a very difficult way to meet because the screen comes down
Yeah.
and it's here either above us or behind us, and it's been very difficult to see the information. I've always been a component that we should do. We, at one point, went to the iPads briefly, and that was even much better because we had everything on our own little
Yeah.
tablet. Whatever works as far as being able to see these presentations, see these pictures, for me is what.
Yeah, it's big.
So,
Well-
Ron, where are we at with a full video system to record, not necessarily live stream, but to record for the basement?
Yes, we could do that. It would be nice if there was a dedicated computer bought by probably the city to,
We could buy a computer.
yeah.
We have
Windows
money in the budget for a
computers,
computer?
Jeff, is your mic on?
Okay, there's more to the story. I'll get that later. Okay, so we could do that. We could record video pretty quickly next 2 weeks, maybe?
In the basement?
Yes.
Well, the problem is, once we move city meetings to the basement, we just need to move them all because of the microphone setups and the audio video
Okay.
setups. Yeah, and I think the council voted to have the first meeting in April in the basement.
Yes.
Okay. So let's try to just work with that, same
I don't
timeframe.
like this setup. I feel like we're so,
I don't like
I
it
can't
either.
even see those
Yeah.
people out there,
Yeah.
but I'd
No.
like to have more of a
Right.
Yeah.
feeling
I
that we're connected to people.
Completely agree.
And
This
these
is not,
lights up here
this has
are
not been
just-
great.
I mean, these lights made it so much harder to see that, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And look, we need to be able to see these graphics, the images, we need to be able to see the content. It's been an issue as long as I've been on the commission.
What happened
I
to the
think we can fix it.
iPads?
Well, Molly was doing that. Molly was doing the iPads.
email right
And so maybe we should,
Scott, can you get on that?
maybe Danielle could help us with iPads, maybe. I don't know, but so all of that, and that was actually pretty good. It wasn't perfect, but it was much better. And if we could do that, I would be, and I just,
I
less
hate
paper.
killing trees, and this is
less
a
paper.
waste of
This is,
paper.
to me, less paper. Less paper would be better.
So we forget, though, the governor's conference on
Yeah.
tourism.
Oh, yeah. We
I also
kind of
want-
skipped all that. Any thoughts?
I'd like
anyone
to,
wanna share?
I'd like to get a total on expenses and stuff, to see as a
How much it costs?
commission to say, was it worth it for us all to go to this? I mean, I enjoyed it, I learned a lot, but I
Yeah.
think we need to be fiscally responsible to say, how much did it cost us?
Yeah.
We drove a long ways, $400 a piece for gas.
Yeah.
Do we have the money to do that? I mean,
I
I
mean, what
think
were
we
the-
need to have that conversation.
What were the takeaways? I mean, what were you think the highlight was for each of you guys that went?
I
Well,
bet,
I'm brand new, so everything I learned is
Was
brand
good.
new for me.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I thought it was worth it. But
I'd been to two previously, been a little while, but, and so I didn't expect much, but I was surprised. I mean, they had some pretty good technology stuff that I felt was maybe lacking in the past. They had some experts in there. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah. next year is going to be Jonesboro. So.
Yeah.
But I like,
But I
as a
think that
commission,
what
I
you
like
take away
to
from
just
it?
What was
sum it
your
all up.
big
How much
takeaway?
did this cost?
I think typically it's the staff that goes, and not as
Well, the
much.
last 2 years, it's been so close. Like, I went last year, but it was in Fayetteville, just drove back and forth.
Okay.
It wasn't, it was,
Big deal.
no expenses, and so, at least other than.
I think
food
it
or
was
whatever.
so good, it was so informational, I think it should be required
It is, of
that
staff.
you attend this.
Yeah.
I really
Staff.
think it's that, no, our commission.
Everybody?
It was that eye-opening. It was, I learned a lot. I mean, it's going to save us and make us some money.
Yeah, again,
from
I'm
what I
not
saw.
advocating against going. I'm just saying, I think we need to,
Yeah, we should be published. We should know.
yeah.
I just wondered.
Yeah, I think
what-
it was a fantastic conference. I think one of my favorite, I went to every one that I could, and I think my favorite was probably the same as Chris's, the strategic planning.
That's good.
It was a very good presentation. Putting all the networking aside with other people throughout the state, the content was spot on, except for diversity and inclusion and outdoor travel. Because I went to that one, and yeah, it was not diverse. It was not inclusive, and I pointed it out and told them that it wasn't. And I was told off to the side something that a parks person or a tourism person with the state probably should not have said to me, but it is what it is.
Well,
Okay.
I'm glad we went, but would like to see how much we spent for that.
But I agree. I think every commissioner, or at least half of us, should be going,
Yeah.
because the staff, once we have the staff in place, they're counting on us for guidance, and likewise. So they go, we go, we have the same information, bounce ideas, debate, whatever we do, and then carry on moving forward from there.
Yeah, I mean, I learned about Sherpa and the collaboration, the creators, that was really impactful to me. And my wife's like tried to explain it to me before, and I thought I kind of understood, but I really understood it much better. And so like, when we understand those things better, it's easier to make decisions when the director or whoever's coming at you going, hey, I think we need to do this, or even the media group, agency, or whatever. So.
When you talk to the other towns in the state, I mean, you realize quickly we're one of the two superstars for tourism.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Definitely.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Hot Springs and Eureka Springs.
Yeah, and it's a shame we can't handle,
And everybody
That
else,
conference
everybody
here.
else wants to get up to where we at.
Well, I think we can. I don't think we're there yet, but I think we should work towards that goal. I'd love to have that conversation where we're trying to figure out a way to make that tourism work. I think it would be such a great experience for the other towns to come. I realize that it's going to be, we're going to have to rely on transport and get people around to different locations, but I think we should have that conversation on what do we have to do to get them here in the foreseeable future. Start planning for it now.
like the lunches and the dinners were massive. 600-800 people maybe,
Yeah.
I think.
I think they require 650 people.
Yeah.
650.
And we don't have a place in town that can hold that many people for lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
And those were like the
Well, what
awards.
can Randy do?
We can figure it out.
Yeah,
right.
Randy, how many can Randy?
Yeah.
He's probably the closest to
Yeah, Randy,
handle
we
that.
talked
Well, no,
about
he actually pulled our application, so.
Yeah.
could-
But we
could-
would have to,
you know,
we would have to supplement that with, be able to meet here and have the basement available. I think it's possible. I think if we could, I think it's something we should shoot toward. We get our staff, maybe we could put together a plan.
Yeah.
So,
In a couple of years.
The rest of the dream team,
I'll put it
Jump
on your
on
iPad.
Jump on that, Scott.
please put it on. That's not happening.
The one thing I did on the survey of the conference, I would love to seen El Dorado. I didn't see any of it, except from the
downtown.
conventions, from the hotel to the convention center, back to the hotel, out the window.
yeah.
But I said, how about a little tour of the town or something? I didn't, because we got there was the newcomer thing, then there's the reception thing, and then first 8 o'clock in the morning, and then at 6 we were back on city council, and then by 8 o'clock in the morning, we're back there for another breakfast thing, and then left town. I mean, it's like, if you want, word of mouth is really important in tourism. It's like they would have benefited by having at least an opportunity to see the town,
So to Steve's point, and as it reminded me, I took some notes, but some of the things I heard, a couple of times was about unity. We've been talking about unity, and one of the quotes from one of the presenters was a unified messaging. And so, that just, another one was get your swagger back. I think Eureka's already got its swagger, but, and so I was thinking about what's your point, when you looked at all of the things, 'cause some of the smaller workshops, they're trying to do this, trying to do that. And one festival is like their whole year. Guys, well, that's like a weekend for us.
Yeah.
I mean, Eureka is on steroids compared to everyone else. It's just not even close. So I think we should brand ourselves as number one in every category and just scream it out and annoy the heck out of the rest of the state.
I agree.
Well, Home and Gardens just nominated us, or just pointed us out as one of the greatest small towns in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we get these things every once in a while. That should be up front on every website and everything you talk about. What makes us different?
This just on tourism level, Hot Springs has got a casino and stuff, but we're
Make it a
on a
casino?
whole nother, we don't want a casino,
Nope.
surely not, but we're on a whole nother level of
We can do a
everyone
water
else.
park if we want.
And we should be proud of that. The whole town should be really proud of.
Yeah.
It's a
We can
lot
do
of
a theme park.
passionate, hardworking people.
Do we need to go back to the Paradise invoices?
So there were no invoices.
Okay.
That is the confusion. There's no invoices. The motion that was made and passed by Autumn was that we review detailed invoices. I listened to it today. Detailed invoices and approve them. Well,
These are just
there's-
estimates.
Those are just estimates. So
We
we
don't-
don't have any business.
So this is a matter that Scott can just initial
Yes.
off on and send
Yeah.
back to Michael.
I understood I understood their concept, but I was leery of putting my initial on that document, knowing that you guys should see what I'm doing
Well, we had questions. We all
And
had
and
questions.
we
Was
brought it out, and I think it's good. We talked about it, so now we understand the entire playing field now. So if I get estimates in the future, do I bring them here?
I think
Or
so.
are you telling?
I think you
which-
should.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Well, let's do
I think we
that.
should see all of that,
We're gonna
even though
treat it.
you're approving it.
Okay.
But then the invoice detail, we have to go through.
Anything with Paradise as far as invoices and estimates,
Yeah.
addendums, contract adjustments will come here before any
I
action.
think part of your report. you
Yeah,
know,
it's your report. You put everything in
yeah.
it you want.
And then we got every 2
Put it all in
weeks,
there.
so
Let me get my iPad.
On the iPad, please.
we can also.
Because you'll be printing off, we'll be chopping down more trees if you,
Do you know I ran out of copy paper and I had to go borrow some paper from one of our little taxpayers here?
embarrassing.
We got
I
anything
finally bought
else?
some.
No, I don't have,
Anything else?
I don't have anything else. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Check that.